Okay. So my kids and I are on a little adventure. We're out and about, wandering around the countryside. We actually just did a science center IMAX thing. My kids had never seen an IMAX. It was a little anticlimactic for my kids today because we went and saw, airplanes that weren't quite as 3D as they hoped, because the dinosaur one that we saw the preview for looked really cool, but it wasn't playing till tomorrow. We're gonna go back for the one with the dinosaurs tomorrow. But have you guys ever really paid attention to people who have high risk jobs? Right? Like, for instance, we were watching the Navy pilots do their whole, Blue Angel thing. It's cool. Okay, it is just too cool. I had like goosebumps almost the whole time we were watching it. And my kids, like I said, a little anticlimactic for them because it wasn't quite as 3D as they'd hoped. But what really got me was how they prepare their runs, right? So as a team, they're in a boardroom. It's a square thing, but it could be a circle. It doesn't really matter. And they're all sitting around and they're going through their plan. And at first they use a pen over the map and they hover over the map and they follow their trajectory with a pen. And then they actually visualize and like sit in their chairs and pretend that they're doing the flight while sitting in their chairs together. So like there's a whole visualization prior to even going out and doing the practice, even if it's just practice. Why don't we do that with our lives? Why do we take our lives so lightly that we cannot take the time to plot out a vision, right? Like run your pen over your map of what you want your life to be or what you want your day to be. Keep it simple. It doesn't have to be a life. It could just be for a day, or it could just be for an afternoon. In my case, it could just be for an hour because I kind of forget sometimes. We had a lot of fun at the Science Center. I'm pretty sure my kids don't qualify me as an adult, but we had fun. Anyways, but why don't we do that with our lives? Like, seriously though. People talk about vision boards. Why isn't your vision board your trajectory map, right? Why isn't that your map of the things you want to do, things you want to accomplish, your goals, whatever it is? And why aren't we sitting in our chairs and full blown, not just visualizing it, but like acting it out? Like we could literally be like practicing and acting it out. It's like politicians and people who do their speeches in mirrors so that they, get a view of themselves, like what they might look like when they're talking, how they are projecting their hand movements and their mouth and their face, and are you smiling with your eyes? Are you not smiling with your eyes? Are you a psychopath and you don't even move your eyebrows at all, right? Do you have any crinkle lines? And there's so many things people do now to manipulate and this movement, right? So people start nodding. Oh my god. Anyway, there's a lot of people who are really good at social manipulation, politicians being one of them, salesmen being another. I was great at sales, by the way. I didn't even realize how much being a neurodivergent child in an extremely abusive home naturally taught me things that people train for, like the social cues for manipulating a situation or trying to make the situation go a certain direction, right? Because a lot of the times as a kid, your biggest goal is to mitigate whatever punishment might be coming your way. So if you can find a way to, make people either feel sorry for you or make people forget you exist. That was my favorite, right? Like blending into the background. And I even remember having one adult accuse me one time. It's like, how do you do that? You just like disappear. It's like, 'cause I'm really good at being still and quiet. I learned that one the hard way. But again, sorry, back to the Blue Angel thing. It just kind of like made my brain tingle in the best way. I literally had like the whole goosebump tingle thing all through I was like, this is fire. This is something we should be doing on a day-to-day basis. We should be honest to God in the morning, right? When you first wake up, before you get out of bed, those first 30 minutes when you're still like your brain's still right there in that nice dreamy state. You can look up all the actual terms later, but I'm not going to mess with the people who don't know the terms. It's like a dreamy state, okay? Let's dumb it down. So you're in the dreamy state. You should be imagining how you want your day to be. You should be imagining all the amazing things you want to happen that day. Don't worry about the big goal, the long-term goal. I mean, you can do that too, but why not do it for the day, right? I don't know what your tasks are for the day or what you want to accomplish that day, but what if you did that for your day? And then while you are up, after you wake up and get out of bed and get dressed and all that stuff, I've always done this thing where I like to listen to a playlist, and while I'm doing the playlist, again, I'll kind of play it out in my head, but sometimes I'll play it out in my head to the point where I'll actually find myself having emotional responses as if I'm actually there, and it kind of preps me for stuff, right? Like if I'm gonna go in, everyone says this is like an ADHD thing or an autistic thing, and grant you I rate high on all whatever, you know. I honestly think that neurodivergence is just gifts being maltreated and misused. I mean, we're not meant to be boxed as neurodivergents. We are meant to break the system. The impossible and unreasonable is what makes things that were impossible once upon a time possible. Could you imagine if there was never somebody unreasonable saying, no, I don't want it like that. I want it to be like everything else. Like we need people to do the opposite. We need people to say, no, I don't like that, right? I mean, so much of our advancement in our society doesn't come from people wanting everything to stay the same. So we have a broken system. It needs to change. By the way, stop listening to all the social media and news media about the tariffs and shit. You guys really need to start going and looking for what actual news is happening around the world and why such a retarded back and forth agenda is the main focus of popular media. Like, you know, just saying. Anyways. Yeah, again, every day when you wake up, spend a few minutes plotting it out, mapping it out. Maybe you even want to write a list. I'm not a big person for writing lists. I don't have the attention span to sit and focus and write a list. I find that extremely boring. I could do myself a video or, you know, something like slowly jot things down maybe in point form as my day goes by, but I'm not a big list person. I do like the music thing. For me, it's the music, and as I get up and I'm starting to start my day, and I like to imagine stuff. I know my kids had to learn that mom needs at least half an hour after she wakes up to like get her brain out of that focused, I'm imagining what my day is going to be like, or my goal is. Sometimes it's like a weekly goal. Maybe it's not a daily goal. Maybe it's a weekly goal. Yeah, it could be a thing. But yeah, and then afterwards, you could practice it if you need to practice it, like people who practice speeches or people who practice sales pitches. I mean, when I did sales, right, we did a lot of role playing in sales. And I didn't like the role playing, but once I was actually in sales, I was good at it. Man, the places you can walk into, like if you walk in like you own the place, like you know what you're doing, people really, and even me when I was doing it, I think I was like 18. I probably looked like I was like 16 at best. But even then, because I walked in and I didn't look like I was lost, I just walked in like, I'm just gonna go in here and this is where I'm supposed to be. People were afraid to ask me why I was there. And I ended up going into places that you weren't supposed to go into. I met some interesting ladies. I actually went to a massage parlor one time. And I knocked on the door and I didn't know. I mean, I was really naive. Okay, I was a country bumpkin. And it said, you know, massage parlor. And these women answered the door in their really pretty lacy lingerie. And I'm like, oh, happy ending parlor. Okay. By the way, they bought a lot of stuff. They were awesome. But they're like, how did you get in here? You're supposed to get buzzed in. And meanwhile, I just walked in behind somebody else. It was awesome. Anyways, I had a lot of fun. So the whole point I'm trying to make is if we practice things after we've visualized them, whether you're practicing it in your head or practicing it in real life, right? Do the visualizing, do the practice, get excited about it. And the other key point, if it's a big project, was having a team and doing the same visualizations and practice together as a team. Because then there's a collective consciousness coming together. There's a group of people with the same focus, the same goal, the same energy. They're united in a focus, in an energy. They become a collective energy. It's powerful. If you have a big project, try that. Try getting your whole team to visualize the same thing and act out the same thing at the same time. It's fire. Anyways, I had a great day. I hope you guys did too. Bye.